Hi everyone, and welcome back to Azure for Sure live show. As always, I'm your host Stephen Simon, and we are back with another episode of this show. If you're someone who's joining us for the very first time, this is season one of Azure for Sure live show. It's going to have 10 episodes, and thanks for everyone who has tuned us till now. In this episode, we're going to talk about Azure IoT, and I have an absolutely amazing guest waiting behind the scenes. But before we go ahead and invite her, a quick update that this is a recorded version of the episode. So we will be looking in the comments. If you have any questions, you can always drop in and we will answer them. So without any further ado, today we're going to talk about Azure IoT, and to talk about that topic, we have Maria. Maria is a Microsoft MVP and an absolutely amazing community rock star. So I won't delay anymore and welcome the IoT queen, Maria. Hi, Maria. Welcome to the Azure for Sure live show.
Hello, Simon. Hi, all. How
So,
are you?
Maria, thanks for joining in. So, my very first question, it may be very off topic, but how do you say your last name?
My full name is Maria-Anastasia Moustaka.
Oh my goodness.
So, yeah.
Yeah, it's challenging for me, Maria. So, tell us quickly about yourself, who you are, what you do, and where you're joining us today from.
First of all, I want to tell you that I'm so glad to be here today, and huge congratulations on this series and for all the work you've done with our community. And secondly, I am Maria-Anastasia, as you said before. I am from Greece, and I am a passionate computer engineer. I work at the team Candi of InfoQuest Technologies as a software developer, remotely from my home, and at many institutions as a robotics trainer. In the past few months, I have became a Microsoft Azure MVP, as you said. And I love to deal a lot with Internet of Things and Azure IoT, of course. I love also to give presentations and blog about these technologies. And I am a co-host of IoTeaLive Twitch live show with Microsoft Azure MVPs, Pete Gallagher and Cliff Angus.
Oh yeah, I've seen that. I've seen a couple of episodes, and I think you also do with Petty. If I'm not, I don't know how to say his names, Petty or Petty. I don't know, but yeah, you're really into this community, right? IoT and I follow you on Twitter. You often share about this IoT monthly updates and all. Right. So before Maria, you go into all these tech, IoT and Azure, I want to know that how you got into this IoT, because the I would say the ecosystem of these things, it is not as easy as it is to get into the software development and coding and all, right? Anyone can download the IDE and start learning and programming, but to get into IoT, I think you have to go through certain roadblocks. So what is your journey of moving into IoT?
At first, I was always fascinated by the field of IoT and robotics, and generally the intelligent systems and automations that are all around us. But especially when I was at the first year of my studies, I bought my own Arduino. Arduino, it's a microcontroller, and with that you can build some projects and whatever you want. So next, in the third year of my studies, I joined the Robotics Club of my university, and there we dealt with Arduino, Raspberry Pi, also. So as I entered in this group, in this club, I was included in the competition team, and I gained so much knowledge and distinctions there. Also, the same year, a professor from the robotics team started the volunteering robotics team for children, which was also a great experience for me. Another point in this history, in this journey, I have to mention is that when in 2020 we was in quarantine, we had to transfer the events we did with Microsoft Learn student ambassadors from events with physical presence to online events. So I did an IoT event, and I saw that audience liked it a lot, and more asked me to do this event. So these lectures also helped me because to make my presentations better and better, I read more and more about this topic. For some time now, I have also started blogging, which also helps me to constantly learn new things. And I think that this is my small route on IoT.
I mean, Maria, I would say you are definitely a lot more talented than me. I mean, when I was in college, I was pretty dumb. although I was then there was a program. And now it is Microsoft Learn Student Ambassador. Then it was Microsoft Student Partner. I was a part of that program, so it really did help me. And as you just added that. Going and delivering sessions, you have to do a lot of research. That definitely adds a lot more value to your knowledge. So I'm definitely 100% with you. And Maria, while you shared your journey, that how you got started with IoT, you did mention about Arduino, right? And if I have to start the IoT today, or if anyone who's watching this podcast or this live show, what are the steps you would suggest, or what are the paths that you would suggest to get started with IoT?
First of all, I think that you don't need to buy anything. You can see
Really?
that we have those who deal with IoT, because there are many simulators that you can use for free on the internet. So you can visit Tinkercad, or on Azure, it's a simulator for Raspberry Pi. So you can start making and programming small projects there with 1 or 2 sensors, and then you can move to something more complex. Moreover, there is also a lot of free material on the internet in general, and on Microsoft Learn about Azure. So when you build a small project with 1 or 2 sensors, then you can connect it to the internet. And I have an info for you, because the audience may not know it, that students are entitled to some free credits to start their first projects on Azure. So you haven't need to pay something to start with IoT. But if you want to buy some kit, you can Google and find some kits from Arduino, with Arduino or Raspberry Pi. It's very it's not very it don't need very money, a lot of money. So it's I think it's easy to start if you have a passion for this.
Yeah, I mean, Mari, I really love when you said that you don't have to buy things at the very first place. I didn't knew that there are online simulators available, so I don't have to buy an Arduino or Raspberry Pi. I can just code and use those simulators and test it. And once I am kind of familiar with it, I can then go ahead and either buy an Arduino from the Arduino website or maybe whatever e-commerce website you have. And you also did mention that it is not very expensive. So I believe you started in your student career, so that really adds the point. So Maria, until now you have mentioned about two IoT boards. The first one is an Arduino, and the second one is the Raspberry Pi. And also you did mention sensors. So what are the programming language one should know to get started with it? Is it like I have to learn different programming language for both of these? How does that work?
First of all, Arduino has its own language. It's a language like C++. It's easy to start with Arduino. I think that if you watch some videos, after 1 hour you could program your program you want. The amazing thing with Raspberry Pi is that you can program Raspberry Pi with Python or with .NET even.
Wow.
So if you want .NET, you could program Raspberry Pi with some changes, of course.
That's perfect. So that's you said for Arduino, you can use programming language like kind of C or C plus plus, right? That's what they have. I think they're more like function oriented, where they have void loop and all. That's how you do it. And with Raspberry Pi, you can either use Python or our all favorite .NET C sharp.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
so Maria, also, what about the sensors, right? So, when we talk about the sensors, what are some of the sensors that you use in your day-to-day experiments and projects, and what are some of the sensors that you would recommend?
First of all, I have some things to show you if you want.
Yeah, I would love to see it.
Yeah, and you can, as Arduino, as I said before, there are many kits on internet that you can buy sensors. I have some here. Oops. This sensor is
Looks like an eye.
yeah, yeah, it looks like eyes. This is the ultrasonic sensor, and it measures the distance of a target object by emitting ultrasonic sound waves and converts the reflect sound into an electrical signal. The fun fact about ultrasonic is that it works like bats. And I find it amazing that technology imitates nature. So if you want to detect some change in some place, you could use ultrasonic. Also, here I have a sensor that detects heat, and you can use it if you want to detect fire, for example.
Mm-hmm.
So this is the sensor you have to have. Um, I have bring here with me an
Oh, what is
LCD.
that?
It's a LCD that you can type from your code something to show here. For example, the temperature or whatever you want, emojis. No, the real emojis, but a smile or something.
Hmm.
And I want to show you the things that we told you before. This is the Raspberry Pi. It's a computer, but it's so small to be a
Yeah.
computer. Arduino here is a little smaller. This is Arduino Uno,
Hmm.
the most popular of Arduinos. And I have here with me today a very small Arduino. This is
Oh my
the
goodness.
Arduino Nano.
So it comes in various shapes and sizes.
Yeah. So when you want to start a project, you have to think about um what I have to what measure it has to have, and maybe have my project need Wi-Fi, because this can connect with Wi-Fi, but
Hmm.
Arduino cannot.
Oh,
Of course, we can put some other chips, and then we can connect Arduino with Wi-Fi too. And the last one I want to show you is this board. It
hmm.
calls breadboard. I don't know if
Maybe you
if
can
you
try to eat it, Maria, and check.
no. I don't think I can, but it's for for temporary circuits and doesn't require any welding. So it's for it, it helps you to do some experiments with this one. And I forgot that I have bring it here. This is the chip for Wi-Fi, and if you put this on this, you could have Wi-Fi on Arduino too.
My goodness, that was you have a lot of stuff with you. I don't know how your table looks like right now, but I'm supposing that there's too much going on your table, Maria. So it
Yeah.
definitely. So a quick question before we move to the second part of the of this live show is how much of the electronic knowledge. I mean, you're talking about chips, you're talking about sensors. So we people coming from a computer science background who have been doing only programming. So how much does this electronic knowledge is needed to get into this IoT?
Mm-hmm. That's a great question. Um, at first, it doesn't you doesn't have so much electronic knowledge.
Hmm.
You have to know how to put some cables in these in the breadboard, and that all the chips needs some power and some ground. But as you deal with IoT, you have to learn more and more about electronics, because you will see that in some projects you will need more and more electronics knowledge, but you can start with the basic knowledge, like how to connect my Arduino with the sensors, with breadboard, and with when you continue, you have to learn more slowly.
So, I mean, it's easy to get started, right? I mean, you can, if you don't have this electronics background, you can go ahead and get started. But as it evolves, as you keep on going, you have to kind of level up also your electronics and all the circuits knowledge, right? I think
Yeah,
that's what
I
I get it.
agree. Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah. And the past weekend, I learn. I teach my kids that I have on the Robotics Club. Yeah,
Hmm.
about Arduino, and they was so excited about all these projects that they can build.
Yeah, I'm excited too. I'm definitely, I don't have a lot of stuff like you have, but I'm definitely trying to do with simulators and all. So I'm definitely
Mhm.
excited too, Maria. Now let's move to the second half of this live show where you have been talking about this IoT and devices and all these things. Where does Azure come into play? Where does Azure helps IoT and all this?
Mhm. Azure helps IoT when we have to connect our physical systems to
Mm-hmm.
the on the internet. So we use IoT as a server. You can have it on your mind like this. We can use the Azure like a server, and then we can build um, some some solutions, and then we can visit Azure from computer, from our mobile phones, to see what our sensors detects.
Mm-hmm.
So I can make a system here on my office, and when I will go to my home, for example, I can check the weather, for example, or if someone breaks into my home. So there, Azure, it's very, very important.
All right, so you're saying that you take all the data from your sensors and use Azure as a server where you can sync all the data, and after you have the data, Azure is pretty powerful. You can go ahead and do anything with that data. You can create Power BI
Yeah.
dashboards, or maybe you can use Azure Snaps Analytics, and a lot of stuff. So, Maria, I hosted I have hosted many people, many guests in this series, right? And they have covered a lot of services, right? There's so much of services on Azure. Now, with respect to IoT, what are some of the services you would like to suggest for people to explore?
Mhm. First of all, there are two basic services about IoT,
Mm-hmm.
and these are Azure IoT Hub and Azure IoT Central. But there are also many other services about IoT, such as Azure Edge, Azure Sphere, Digital Twins, Maps, Time
Oh my
Series,
goodness.
yeah, etc.
So with all these services, right? So if I would go to Azure and search IoT, and all these services would come, which are the services you use on your day-to-day basis, and which are the services you would like to suggest for people to get started with?
Mhm. Um, Many times you need some databases. So
Mm-hmm.
um, some solution from there. Um, Next, service bus is very, very important because you can manage all the information, and um, it's like first in, first out solution.
Mm-hmm.
So you can manage um, your data. Um, yeah. Um,
All right, that gives me an
yeah.
idea. Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, that gives me an idea, right? So since there's so many services out there, feel free, go ahead and kind of explore whatever works best out for you. right? If you're
Mhm.
using Arduino, there might be different services you like to do. If there's a Raspberry Pi, you would like to do another thing. Now, apart from all this, Maria, I know you keep on sharing a lot of projects on your Twitter and all, right? You keep on doing, you keep on posting little tweaks here and there, which is one of your favorite projects that you have worked on.
Um, my favorite, I think that is my first project in robotics team.
Hmm.
I was. It's called Sumo. I don't know if you know the sumo.
I know the sumo.
Yeah, and it was a robot that you have to. It was two robots, and you have to push the other robot out of the dojo arena.
Wow, it
Yeah,
sounds so exciting.
so you had to detect the other robot, run to it, and then
Kind of have
yeah.
fight over there, right?
Mhm. Also, we had a project with other MVPs on November 2021
Hmm.
about we was we made a flight simulator and no simulator sorry um yeah it kind of simulator, but it was a huge project. We make an event, and it was I think 3 hour event to explain to the audience what was make.
Hmm. So it's working with teams, and it's always exciting. I really liked your project when you guys had to fight as like sumo. I wish I could have project. My favorite project remains the Blink project. I've not been able to go beyond that. I'll definitely go ahead and start again. So Maria, we are reaching towards the end of this show. Any final thing you want to plug in to all the audience watching? Any final thing?
Could you please repeat the question because
Yeah,
I
so it's we are just reaching towards the end of the show, right? Any final tip or any last thing you would like to say to the audience?
oh I think that the only thing that anyone needs to deal with IoT, it's passion, it's patient, because
Mm-hmm.
when you have to deal with electronics and programming, many things may not go well. But if
Yeah,
you want passion, if you want patience, and I believe that you could be whatever you want. I think
yeah,
this is
absolutely makes sense. I mean, yeah, getting to this bias, it may not work sometimes. You might get irritated, right? So, Maya, apart from this, now this is the final question, right? Apart from all this tech and complex things, right? What do you do in your free time? What are some of your hobbies?
I really love dancing.
Oh,
Uh,
right.
yeah. Um, and I watch a series on Netflix.
Oh wow, that's a good thing to do.
Yeah.
So thank you, Maria. Thank you so much. That was an absolutely great you coming on the show. So thank you so much, and yeah, we
Thank you
will see
too.
you some other live show. Until then, take good care of yourself and see you soon. And thank you everyone who's joined. Ta-da. Bye.